INEC faces scrutiny ahead of 2027 polls. Governor Fintiri meets Yola flood victims, promises relief. Just traders kick against shop demolition. And on the foreign scene, ISIS claims DRC church massacre. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. We begin with political matters. As Nigeria's political landscape begins to take shape ahead of the 2027 general elections, growing concerns are emerging over the independence and integrity of the electoral process. Allegations of bias and possible compromise have left many wondering whether the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, can truly remain neutral in its role as the electoral umpire. It's against this backdrop that Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman engages key political stakeholders on their confidence in INEC and the future of credible elections in Nigeria. The report.
Despite notable investments in technology aimed at boosting transparency, the aftermath of the 2023 elections has left a cloud of doubt over INEC's ability to conduct free, fair and credible polls. For many Nigerians, the promises of electoral reforms appear to fall short of expectations.
INEC has disappointed everybody in their performance in the last general election and subsequent off-cycle elections. They have not performed creditably, so to that extent I don't have much confidence in them, but there's still time for them to change.
How well did you abide by your own internal constitution or regulation of your party? So if I am trying to upstage you and I see loophole, definitely, okay, I will find what to use to ensure that I win.
The Independent National Electoral Commission is not a political party, and we doesn't have a candidate for any election. And one of our core responsibility is to register any association that is seeking to be registered as a political party. So far, it meets the criteria needed for the registration.
Concerns have also mounted over the sluggish pace of political party registration amid fears of creeping towards a one-party dominance. With pressure mounting for electoral reforms and greater accountability, INEC finds itself under increasing scrutiny.
The executive branch of government, this government is composed of mainly crooks. And these are people that don't play by the rules. Crooks don't play by the rules. But we are confident we will checkmate them no matter from which angle they come. We will checkmate them. Nigerians are ready to stop them from doing a crooked election.
No, every politician wants to capture power, but it has to be done within the atmosphere of peace and decorum. At least we have laid down rules, that is the Constitution, the Electoral Act, and INEC guideline, and the internal mechanism or constitution of respective political parties.
That is why INEC has been taking its time to process and evaluate all the letter of intent that we received, so as to make sure that all the ones that will proceed to the registration stage has met the criteria.
While political parties continue to engage in strategic battles for dominance, Nigeria's vast electorate is demanding more than politics as usual. They want a process that guarantees real choices, credible leadership, and meaningful representation. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Mahmoud Yakubu, has pledged the commitment of the commission to ensure electoral reforms in the ECOWAS network of Electoral Commission, ECONEC. Professor Yakubu made the call during the visit of the regional body to the Independent National Electoral Commission office on Monday in Abuja. The report.
The delegation was on a post-election follow-up and needs assessment mission to Nigeria. Yakubu lauded ECOWAS for deploying both long and short-term observers for Nigerians' 2023 elections and for following up with actionable recommendations. In a response, the chairperson of Liberia's National Election Commission and head of ECONEC mission, David Brown Lansana, who led the delegation, commended Professor Yakubu and the entire INEC team for their commitment to democratic values and advancing electoral integrity, not only in Nigeria, but across the West African region.
Furthermore, the follow-up mission will also interact with the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC. Of the 13 observations specifically addressed to INEC, the Commission has considered all of them that require administrative action to implement while waiting for the conclusion of the ongoing legal review by the National Assembly on aspects of the recommendations that require legislative intervention.
We've come to see how best INEC has implemented those recommendations, and we anticipate that during our engagement, we may be able to understand reasons for some of the issues that came out of the 2023 elections and how INEC was able to navigate in a way that it has found answers to those challenges that abound during the 2023 elections.
Other members of the delegation include Deputy Chairman Corporate Services of Ghana's Electoral Commission, Postman Asari, the Acting Permanent Secretary of ECONEC, as well as the members of the Commission.
Still talking politics, the National Working Committee, NWC, of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, has announced the rejection and 30-year banishment of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai from the party. The party's decision followed what it described as El-Rufai's continued misrepresentation of his membership status. Despite publicly claiming on social media that he had joined the SDP, the party said he failed to officially register at his word as required by the law. According to a statement issued in Abuja by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Araba Rufus Ayenigba, El-Rufai's public appearances with suspended SDP officials and some leaders of the party created a false impression of his affiliation. The NWC said it had initially given him the benefit of the doubt but confirmed through internal inquiries that he never joined the SDP. The party listed several findings to support its position, including El-Rufai's alleged self-registration without ward-level approval, misuse of the party's name in political dealings, and attempts to destabilize internal structures. The SDP also accused him of proposing a high-level profile welcome event at the National Secretariat, which was declined, and of presenting himself as the first registered member of the Ungwer-Sariki ward in Kaduna North local government area, despite contrary records. Away from political matters, 35 kidnapped victims from Banga village in Koranamuda local government area of Zamfara state have reportedly been killed by bandits over their failure to pay a 35 million naira ransom. A resident of the village, Sani Suleiman, on Sunday said the bandits abducted 53 people from the community and demanded 1 million naira per captive. According to him, the 53 kidnapped victims had been in captivity for several months, with only 18 of them able to pay the ransom and were released. According to those who were released after paying the ransom, the bandits killed the remaining 35 captives who could not pay the ransom one after the other in their presence. Suleiman further said that Banga village was currently under the control of the bandits and appealed to the state government to intervene. The Zamfara state government is appealing to the federal government to urgently deploy additional troops to the state to curb the rising wave of insecurity. The special advisor to the governor on political matters, Ilyas Mejiga, who made the appeal during a press briefing in Gusau, said it comes as armed bandits have continued to terrorize rural communities, leaving residents unable to sleep peacefully or go about their daily lives The report.
Banditry in Zamfara has reached alarming levels, with lives lost, properties destroyed, and entire communities displaced. Many villagers have been forced to flee their ancestral homes, while others live in constant fear of being killed or kidnapped. Farmers are among the worst affected. Unable to access their farms, they face heavy levies imposed by the armed groups, levies they cannot afford. Despite awareness of the situation by relevant authorities, little progress has been made in halting the crisis. It is in response to these escalating attacks that the Zamfara state government has renewed its appeal to President Bola Tinubu's administration to deploy more troops to secure the rural areas and end the persistent bloodshed.
To help the federal government meet this promise, make up to be sure that the banditry as it promised ends this year. Let them face this problem. In fact, if the federal government does not want to kill the bandits, that they are citizens, let them bring enough forces. If we have enough forces in every village of 10 kilometers in between, there are forces, there are armored vehicles, there are patrol vehicles, there will not be banditry.
Maijega emphasized that Governor Dauda Lawal has made significant achievement in the areas of healthcare, education, road infrastructure, and agriculture, and deserves support from the people, especially in the upcoming Kauran Namoda South State constituency by-election.
Any person coming to Kusau after 2 years, in the first 2 years, will not recognize the city again. It was up from a village to not only a town, but a city, with roads that you will take you in Abuja. There is the airport there. There is a lot of repairs of schools, hospitals, provision of equipment in hospitals.
He further commended Governor Lawal's leadership, stating that within just 2 years, his administration has placed Zamfara among the leading states in the federation.
Now, in the wake of protests against persistent insecurity in Katsina State, hundreds of displaced persons, mostly women, children, and the elderly, have taken refuge in Bakori town, the headquarters of Bakori local government area. These displaced residents, forced from their homes by repeated attacks, are now squatting in public buildings and calling for urgent government intervention to avert a looming humanitarian crisis. The report.
Scores of residents were seen arriving in Bakori town, exhausted and visibly distressed, carrying only the few belongings they could salvage. Their faces tell a story of horror, frustration and helplessness, a human tragedy unfolding amidst deepening insecurity in rural Katsina. Trust TV captured scenes of women and children arriving around 5 p.m. on Sunday with no clear destination of shelter, displaced and desperate.
We urgently call on the government to address the escalating crisis in our communities. Our parents, brothers, and loved ones are being killed daily. Our belongings are being stolen. Despite our best efforts to survive, we are forced to flee our villages in search of safety. Now we find ourselves displaced with nowhere to sleep. Even the places where we attempt to find temporary shelter, security forces are driving us away, leaving us completely helpless.
An elderly man, Mohammed Usman, explained that around 12 farming communities under Guga ward in Bakori local government area have been deserted. According to him, Guda village is the only one still standing.
You see, many of our people have been abducted. We have to pay over 25 million naira in ransom to free them. Right now, we are here with nothing. We have lost everything. Our community have been under attack non-stop for 8 days. Many have been killed.
In another interview, Zainab Yusuf, a grieving mother from Yatsapua village, recounted how her 3 children went missing during a recent bandit attack. Upon arriving in Bakori, she was told that their bodies were found drowned in a nearby stream.
After the bandit attack, my children went missing. When I arrived here, I was told some children were found dead, likely drowned in a nearby river. I'm going there to find out. I have surrendered everything to Allah, who controls life and death.
The escalating violence has also triggered a food security crisis. Vast farmlands across Katsina's agricultural belt are now inaccessible due to bandit activities. In a statement from the Ministry of Internal Security and Home Affairs, signed by Commissioner Nasiru Ma'azu Damusa, the Dikko-Rada-led administration said it is working hard to restore lasting peace in affected areas. According to the statement, out of 24 local government areas under siege in 2023, Oli Bakuri, Faskari, Sabwa, and Kankara still face intermittent attacks. The rest, the government says, have seen relative stability thanks to collaboration between security forces and local communities. While acknowledging the efforts of security agencies, the ministry noted that over 100 members of the Community Watch Corps and more than 30 police officers have lost their lives in the fight against banditry. Several military personnel have also paid the ultimate price. Despite these sacrifices, residents say more needs to be done. While many applaud Governor Rada's efforts, they insist broader sustained action is needed to secure the remaining communities still under siege.
Operatives of the Department of State Services, DSS, and their counterparts from the Nigerian Army have neutralized at least 45 terrorists wreaking havoc in some border communities in Niger State. The terrorists were specifically killed at Iburu village in Shiroro local government area of the state last Friday when an intelligence by the DSS revealed the activities of the criminals in the area. Trust TV reports that the onslaught against terrorists on the border came on the heels of an alarm raised by the Nigerian Customs Services that its personnel are under constant terrorist attacks in the town. It will be recalled that the Comptroller General of the Customs, Bashir Adeniyi, had in April raised the alarm over terrorist activities around the Babana border in Niger State, the community sharing border with Benin Republic. On Monday, security sources disclosed that the DSS, on getting an intelligence that the terrorists riding several motorcycles were advancing to attack Iburu and neighboring villages, quickly alerted soldiers on standby. One of the sources explained that there was a gunfire between the troops and terrorists, adding that at least 45 terrorists were gunned down during the encounter. He added that 2 operatives also paid the supreme price, while 4 others were injured. In Adamawa State, Governor Ahmadu Umar Refinery has reaffirmed his government's commitment to supporting communities devastated by recent flooding in Yola South local government area. On a visit to the affected areas where many residents have been displaced and are now taking refuge in temporary camps, the governor expressed deep sorrow over the loss of 23 lives. He offered heartfelt condolences to the grieving families and assured them of government support. To ensure a long-term response to the crisis, Governor Fintri announced the formation of a technical committee that will work closely with the National Emergency Management Agency and the Adamawa State Emergency Management Agency. A team's mandate is to assess the root causes of the flooding and develop a robust plan to prevent future occurrences. Amidst public speculation linking the disaster to illegal mining activity, the governor addressed the rumors head-on. He dismissed those claims, instead pointing to human-induced problems such as buildings erected on waterways and blocked drainage channels as major contributors to the flooding.
There is no dam that has caused this situation, problem. Yes, there was a heavy downpour, which we had flood of water from the mountain. But what actually happened, which is there for everyone to see, is that all the water canals and stormwater drainage that were constructed beautifully in this area. We are blocked and the waterways blocked by people who have built illegal houses on them. To some extent that there are some bourgeois that have even blocked the waterway just for their own interest. This is exactly what has happened. And when the water could not find its way into the river, it has to cause the destruction it has caused. And now we are here crying. Unfortunately, we lost 23 of our students for reasons that are unreasonably done by some unpatriotic citizens. It's just unfortunate, but we will make sure we address it in no time.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has forecasted rainy and thundery weather conditions across the country from Monday to Wednesday, warning of possible flash floods in some areas. NIMET's weather outlook, released on Sunday in Abuja, predicted thunderstorms with moderate rainfall on Monday morning over parts of Jigawa, Zamfara, Kano, Kaduna, Bauchi, Yobe, and Katsina states in the northern region. It said in the central region, cloudy skies are anticipated in the morning with light to moderate rainfall expected in parts of Niger, Benue, the Federal Capital Territory, Plateau, and Nasarawa states. NIMET also noted a high risk of flash flooding in parts of Plateau State. For the southern region, cloudy skies would be expected in the morning with light to moderate rainfall predicted in parts of Ondo, Imo, Abia, Enugu, Ebonyi, Anambra, Edo, Delta, Bayelsa, Rivers, Cross River, and Akwa Ibom states later in the day. Similar conditions with sunny skies and patches of clouds are expected in the northern, southeast, and south-south regions, with moderate rain over parts of Adamawa, Taraba, Yobe, Kaduna, Bauchi, Gombe, Jigawa, Katsina, and Kano states. It advised the public to avoid driving during heavy rains, ensure vulnerable individuals dress warmly due to low nighttime temperatures, and take precautions against strong winds that might precede thunderstorms. Now, a dramatic moment unfolded in Ohafia, Abia State, when a stage collapsed while social media influencer Ola of Lagos was addressing the audience at a public event. The incident occurred mid-speech, causing a brief panic among attendees. Security personnel and event organizers quickly intervened, and no serious injuries were reported. Eyewitnesses said the stage gave way due to overcrowding, though an official statement from the organizers is still awaited. The influencer was safely escorted off the stage, and the event later resumed with tightened safety measures.
For me, Yoruba boy, it's your town. You will love it. Igbo Kwenu! Cha-cha-cha
And moving on to more stories, traders operating near the railway station in Jos, the Plateau State capital, have staged a peaceful protest over what they describe as an illegal plan by the station's management to demolish their shops and business premises. The planned demolition, according to them, is despite a valid court order restraining such action. Trust TV's Ado Musa completes the report.
Angry but peaceful, the traders, men and women alike, took to the streets around the railway market to protest the planned demolition of their business center by the railway station management. They allege that the move violates a subsisting court order which restrains any eviction or demolition pending the determination of a legal suit filed by the traders. According to the protesters, the railway station authorities have already begun tearing down some shops and plan to demolish over 400 others, leaving them fearful of losing their only source of livelihoods.
On where the train is moving, we are far away from the train. We are far away from where the rail is. What we are doing in the railway is railway people plan, give us building permission. We go to JMDB, give us building permission. We build so many structures. We are doing trading in the railway land for the first 20 years. Now I believe it's the interest of the other people that they won't pursue us from the railway in order to have another series or another way to develop themselves.
Muhammad said the traders are legally occupying the space and accused the railway authorities of acting in contempt of court.
They violated the court order, and we have the court order in our hand. Court say you should allow these people to, when we come, see what is wrong with the place where they are trading.
Other affected traders shared their frustration over the looming threat to their investments.
What is happening here is too much. The attention too much for us. They are driving us. Our pleading, let them leave us. We are widows, as you see me. Or now, as you see me, I don't have a husband. And since 18 years now, my husband left me.
We get this railway over 20 years, and they lease it for us. We are paying. We are paying because they lease it for us, and we are paying our revenue. And we are not in the railroad. Where we are is by outside. We are paying GMP. We are paying local government. Even railway, we are paying them because they lease it for us, and we get our paper.
One of the affected traders, Yusuf Inusa, claimed that he was legally allocated space by the railway station management and permitted to construct 14 shops. My problem is that the railway station sold me this place, and I built these shops after receiving all the necessary documents. I began construction in 2024. Now, without reason, they want to demolish it. This is not right. I didn't build illegally. I was permitted. Efforts to get a response from the railway station management were unsuccessful, as the public relations officer, Adamu Muhammad, declined to comment, saying he was not authorized to speak on the issue. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
In Lagos State, it's been 3 years since the collapse of the pedestrian bridge that once connected Teledalashe and other CDAs in the Maidan Orile community to the bustling Mile 12 area. Located in Ikosi Shere local government area of Lagos State, the residents of Maidan Orile have been left stranded, cut off from basic services, safety and opportunity. The report.
Residents of Maidan Orile, a remote community in Lagos State, are raising alarm over years of neglect, worsening security, and the collapse of a vital bridge that has cut them off from essential services and commercial access. Speaking on behalf of the community, the chairman of the Imole Oluwa Community Development Association lamented the dire state of infrastructure and security in the area.
Our community, Maidan Orile here, no government intervention. All what we have here, private, primary, nursery school, everything is private. No government intervention, no hospital, nothing whatsoever about government intervention at all here. But what's really happened, our problem here, major problem now is bridge. Our bridge collapsed about 3 years ago, July. 3 years ago, the collapse. You can see the bridge on the something. So that's what is there.
A student of Ogudu Senior Grammar School, Mary Falaye, raised emotional appeal to the Lagos State government over the persistent flooding in her community, which she says is severely affecting her education and the lives of many others.
Concerning this water, it has been hard for us. Sometimes we won't go to school because of this water flood issue.
Speaking to Trust TV, residents of the area said they rely on boats as the only means to transportation due to the lack of motorable road or pedestrian bridge.
When it comes to flood, there's a lot of properties that gets wasted. People's houses, they have to run away from their house or just so they can find a place to, lay their head, because definitely water will enter their house. So I'm using this means to beg the government that they should please intervene for us, because we don't have any other means to move out of this community. We need a road. We need a motorable road. We need a pedestrian bridge as well, so that it's not even conducive for children. Little children as much as 1 year old inside the boat. When the flood, like when the water rises more than this, it's always very scary.
It's affecting us seriously. Both the children going to school, both we adults going out. It's not easy for us. It's not everybody that is used to water. We are just managing it because we don't have option. That's why we are going through it.
Business is good. Only be say we don't have a special road to enter this community. We are entering boats every day. It's not be easy.
The Plight of Meidano Relay stands as a powerful symbol of the deep infrastructure challenges facing many underserved communities in Lagos. With no access road, no functional bridge, and no healthcare facility, residents continue to endure hardship, risking their lives just to meet basic needs.
Taraba State Governor Abu Kaifas has commiserated with the families of and victims of the Namnai boat mishap that claimed the lives of 3 travelers. The governor has also assured the federal government and other relevant ministries, departments and agencies that the Taraba State government is readily available for any partnership that will facilitate quick reconstruction of the bridge to ameliorate the plight of the people and forestall such unfortunate happenings. The governor said he is deeply saddened by the incident, which is a direct consequence of the collapsed Namnai Bridge along the Jalingo-Wukari Federal Highway, which has remained unattended to for over a year since it collapsed. He stated that from initial findings, natural factors as well as human miscalculations all culminated in the unfortunate mishap. Findings revealed that both federal and Taraba state governments had promised to reconstruct the collapsed bridge, but work is yet to begin till now. The National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives have given the federal government a 7-day notice and is demanding improved welfare allowances and better working conditions for nurses. The notice, signed by the National Secretary, Enya Osinachi, and released by its president, Morakinyo Olajide Rilwan, was issued in Abuja on Monday. A decision followed an emergency National Executive Council meeting held on July 10th in Abuja. The association said the move encouraged proactive dialogue on critical issues facing its members. A notice explained that the action became necessary after a 15-day ultimatum issued on July 14th expired without a meaningful response from the federal government or the Federal Ministry of Health. The association reaffirmed nurses' central role in healthcare delivery and insisted that those contributing 60 to 70% of hospital services deserved improved welfare, fair treatment, and recognition for their essential services. Now, pensioners in the Federal Capital Territory have expressed frustration over the delay in the payment of pension arrears. President Tinubu had given approval for the 758 billion naira treasury bond by the Federal Executive Council in February for payment of the arrears. The National Assembly approved the implementation of the 758 billion naira treasury bond on July 22nd. The bond was to clear all government liabilities under the contributory pension scheme. Some pensioners in an interview decried their deteriorating living conditions amid the present economic hardship, which have negatively impacted their lives and leading to the deaths of some members. The Kogi State Police Command has confirmed the recovery of the body of photojournalist Ayobami Ayepekun, who was reportedly killed by his neighbor identified as Oluwapelumi Adebayo. Police spokesperson SP Williams Aya said the journalist's body was found on Sunday evening near the WAEC office in the Crusher Zone 8 area of Lokoja, days after he was allegedly murdered on July 22nd in an office close to the government house. The body has been deposited at the Kogi State Specialist Hospital as investigations continue. Aya urged the public and colleagues of the deceased to come forward with any credible information that could aid the investigation. Family members have called on the federal and Kogi state governments to ensure justice is served. Residents reportedly discovered the body after noticing a foul odor from a nearby bush and alerted local authorities. Chairman of Lokoja local government area, Abdullahi Adamu, visited the scene with security agents and confirmed the identity of the deceased. The Nigeria Army has assured that its personnel will continually respect civil rights in the discharge of their duties during military operations against banditry, kidnapping and terrorism across the country. The Army stated this during the Defense Headquarters Human Security and Civil Military Relations Department workshop in collaboration with the British Defense Staff held in Maiduguri. The 4-day workshop aims to adopt approaches that integrate both kinetic and non-kinetic methods to win the fight against Nigeria's adversaries by bridging the gap between military efforts and civilian aspirations for peace and stability in conflict regions across the country. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, called on the Nigerian populace to collaborate with security agencies in providing credible intelligence that will help tackle insecurity.
The average man on the street sees the military man as brutish, has been rough, has been an enemy of the bottom. We are partners in progress. The military is being paid by taxes by the civilian populace. So what CDS is trying to say now, and that's what the British Defense is sensitizing power. So the challenge now is to try and erase their ignorance, to try and educate men that we are partners in progress with you. We need to help you. We are an agency of government.
For us in Operation Hadinkai, this workshop reinforces our belief that winning the war is not only about defeating adversaries on the battlefield, but also about winning the trust, hearts, and minds of the people. Additionally, in Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai Theater of Operations, we recognize the necessity of embedding human security considerations in our planning and execution of operations.
The Adamawa State Business Enabling Reforms, in partnership with the World Bank and other subnational governments, is stepping up efforts to boost exports and empower local enterprises. Endowed with vast agricultural and mineral resources, Adamawa holds significant untapped potential in international trade. Trust TV's Gibson Sawadugu reports from Yola, where the Adamawa State Business Enabling Reforms recently hosted a stakeholders engagement session focused on export certification. The report.
Stakeholders across the export value chain converge at the banquet hall of the Government House in Yola to deliberate on export certification processes. The session was convened in response to key challenges such as low awareness of export documentation, limited capacity among prospective exporters, and absence of a structured export development framework in the state. In his opening remarks, the focal person for the State Action on Business Enabling Reforms, Bello Abubakar Song, said the SABA Disbursement Link Indicator 6.3 is designed to improve the export readiness of businesses by supporting exporter certification and implementing a state-level export strategy.
We call this forum to sensitize the relevant stakeholders on, first, how to seamlessly obtain this certification, and also to encourage those that have already obtained the certificate to utilize in the process of exportation so as to bring more revenue to the state through the export earnings.
The Director of Solid Minerals Directorate at the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Samson Ido, described the initiative as a timely step forward, resolving bottlenecks in the non-oil export sector, particularly challenges around product quality and the capacity of local enterprises.
But part of what we are doing differently is to how to formalize informal cross-border trade, and which we have not been reporting presently. But as of now, we've been working with the National Bureau of Statistics and other agencies in that area to ensure that we're able to report the informal activity being carried along by informal exporter.
The Adamawa State Commissioner for Commerce and Industry, Ishaya Dabari, acknowledged the difficulties exporters face and lauded SABA for creating a viable roadmap to address them.
The essence is to create awareness among the business people on
understanding the procedures and the processes of obtaining certificate of export.
Messages of support were also delivered by representatives from the Central Bank of Nigeria and the organized private sector. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Residents of Lagos State and parts of Ogun State will experience a 25-day power outage beginning July 28, 2025. A transmission company of Nigeria announced that the disruption is due to scheduled maintenance work on critical transmission infrastructure. The planned outage is expected to affect power supply across various communities as engineers work to improve grid reliability and ensure long-term service stability. TCN has urged residents to exercise patience during the period and assured that efforts are in place to complete the work within scheduled time frame. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. More news after the break. Many thanks for staying with us. In case you just joined in, this is News Hour on Trust TV. And now in business, there are indications that Nigerians are fast relegating cash transactions to the background as the value of electronic payment transactions skyrockets. According to the latest report released by the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, NIBSS, the value of electronic payment transactions grew year-on-year by 24% to 317.2 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2025 from 255.69 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2024. NIBSS instant payments recorded the highest value of transactions, growing by 21.5% to 285 trillion naira from 234.49 trillion naira. The report further showed that the value of mobile money operations, automated clearinghouse transactions, check transactions, as well as point of sale all grew in the period under review. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, is considering the sale of the Warri, Port Harcourt and Kaduna refineries. This potential sale is part of a review process initiated due to the complexities and challenges associated with rehabilitating these aging facilities, which have struggled with inefficiency and mismanagement. Yusuf Akogu reports.
The decisions on whether to sell the refineries was echoed recently by the GCO of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL. The GCO's comment came few days after Africa's richest man and president of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, said the refineries may never work again. The move, however, is not going down well with some experts in the oil and gas sector. They speak on the potential impact on job security and the local economy.
These refineries can work for 100 years. They have just worked, like Kaduna, just about 40-something years with good management. When they earmark money for the repair, all they need to do is to have sincerity, trustworthiness, and honesty.
We didn't think that one day, one Nigerian as an individual can run an enterprise that will build the size of refinery that we have that is even upgraded to 700,000 barrels per day. So if that has happened, the NNPC refineries can also work. And they can only work with very clearly defined roadmap on how to make the refineries work. Our refineries are young.
Key stakeholders in the oil and gas industry are calling for a balanced approach involving collaboration, strong regulatory oversight, and a commitment to fair competition in the domestic market.
We don't need to wake up in the morning and say, oh, price has gone up or price has gone down. And of course, it's a very big discouragement to us. It is depleting our capital that we invest money to buy maybe 45,000 liters of PMS and or diesel, and then we have put in almost 50 million naira. And then by the time you finish selling the product, your profit margin is as little as 500,000.
Somebody said he will bring the products
direct to your filling station without putting cost of the transportation, then automatically we're happy.
Some analysts have suggested that selling the refineries could be a viable option, particularly given the substantial investment made with limited success.
This 3 billion that they spent, they could build 30 refineries, modular refineries with this 3 billion. Because each modular refinery that will give you 20,000 barrels a day requires $75 million. If you need catalytic converter to produce refined PMS, $100 million. They could have built 30.
The final decision will depend on the outcome of the ongoing review, which is expected to be completed before the end of the year. Yusuf Akogun, Trust Television News, Abuja.
Now away from Nigeria, the Islamic State group has claimed responsibility for a deadly attack on Commander Catholic Church in northeastern Democratic Republic of Congo, which left at least 40 people dead. The midnight assault forced thousands to flee, with many now seeking shelter in Bunia and surrounding areas. Displaced residents are facing deteriorating conditions, with aid groups warning of overcrowded shelters, poor sanitation and lack of food and water. Authorities and humanitarian organizations are calling for urgent intervention as fears mount over the potential spread of disease and rising death tolls. Thailand and Cambodia have agreed to an immediate and unconditional ceasefire following 5 days of deadly border clashes that killed at least 35 people and displaced over 260,000. The agreement was reached during talks in Kuala Lumpur. Thai and Cambodian leaders welcomed the deal, which takes effect from midnight. In Surin province, Thai evacuees expressed relief as they prepared to return home. The conflict began after a landmine explosion injured 5 Thai soldiers, sparking blame from both sides. Local authorities say several communities near the border were affected and homes abandoned and farmlands left unattended. It's now time to join Kabir Lawal for the latest in sports.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has conferred national honors to officer of the Order of Niger OON on players of the Super Falcons following their victory at the Women's African Cup of Nations WAFCON. In addition to the honors, the president also announced the Naira equivalent of 100,000 Naira for each of the 24 players and $50,000 for members of the technical team. A presidential reception was held in their honor, celebrating their triumph and contribution to Nigerian football.
Crucial time, crucial victory. On behalf of the grateful nation, I hereby conferred on the players the 11-man technical team with national honor of officer of Niger.
Still on sports, Michael Emmanuel and Adesua Odibeyi were crowned champions in the men's and women's singles categories respectively at the grand finale of 46th Nigerian Senior Open Tennis Championship held at prestigious Moshood Abiola Stadium in Abuja. The tournament, one of the Nigerian's longest running and most prominent tennis competitions, drew elite players from across the country, reaffirming its status as a vital platform for nurturing local talent and showcasing the strength of Nigerian tennis. In the men's singles finals, Michael Emmanuel delivered a resilient and technical masterclass, defeating Ikenna Okonkwo in a thrilling 3-set contest 7-6, 3-6, 6-2. The encounter was a captivating display of power, fairness, and determination from both players, but it was Emmanuel who proved superior in the decisive moments. That's Sport News. I am Kabir Lawal.
And that's a wrap on News Hour tonight. Do well to follow us across all social media platforms for more programs, news and documentaries. My name is Dorcas Yakubuzala. Good night.